Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the Douglas School Committee to order at 6:30 p.m. I need to have a roll call of who all is present from the school committee, please.
Beth Bergstrom present.
Heather Moran present.
Julia Lagerholm present.
Thank you so much. Is anybody here for public comment?
I am.
Can you please state your name and your address, please?
Yep, my name is Terry Mead, 120 U Street.
The floor is now yours. You have 5 minutes that we limit you to. So please understand that due to the public open meeting laws, we are not able to have a conversation with you. And your time can start now, please.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I was just coming to the meeting because last week we found out that our director of special ed had resigned. And when someone new is appointed, it will be the 6th full-time and seventh overall director the district has had in 7 years. This is very alarming to me. For reference, in the surrounding communities of the 13 Blackstone Valley schools, in the same 7-year time period in which Dr. Vieira has been our superintendent, there's been a total of 27 special educator directors employed, 22% of which are attributed to Douglas. There's 21 other directors covering 12 districts in 7 years, averaging and having a median of just under 2 directors per community to Douglas's 6. Of those 21 directors' time in the Blackstone Valley, excluding Douglas, none have served for anything less than 2 years, and 3 of the 13 towns have employed the same director for the entire 7-year period. In most cases, many serve for 3 to 5 years, and some are longer. On the contrary, Douglas has only had 1 director who has served for 2 years and 4 directors who have served for 1 year or less before resigning. As if this amount of turnover was not enough, the story remains the same when it comes to our special education coordinators in both our elementary and secondary levels. Each year, the coordinators that facilitate all team meetings and run Education Point for the buildings have changed, totaling 14 different coordinators between the 2 schools, all of whom have resigned within the year, and at least 3 of whom who have left before 1 full school year is over within the Douglas Public Schools. This level of instability is deeply concerning to me. Since my children have begun in Douglas, I've witnessed a revolving door of leadership that has impacted the integrity of our special education programming. Our teachers and teams are trying to provide necessary support, but their efforts are undermined by the lack of steady guidance, consistent application, uniform direction, and district level continuity. The departures prevent meaningful foundations from ever being established, and every year's families have to reset, relearn, and work to build trust again as our teams are in constant flux. A history of 7 directors in 7 years is no longer a series of unfortunate or untimely turnovers. There's a pattern, and coupled with comments from former employees that are posted publicly, make it very clear that whatever is happening, there's more behind the scene, politics, divide, and manipulation that families might necessarily not be privy to. Families deserve transparency about why this continues to happen, how the district plans to support the staff who do remain, and what was going to be done for our students and community to bring stability. I'm choosing to highlight this issue, but I need the school committee to bring it to the forefront. This is the issue at this point. 3 years ago, we asked for a special education audit, outside audit that was done by the school. And 3 years later, we sit not only in the same boat, but 3 directors later. A pattern of 21 professionals within our district professionally and independently deciding that they can no longer work at the Douglas Public Schools tells its own story. And when we look at when it began and the one concept behind it, I think it's time to investigate deeply, address, solve, and face this head on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else that would like to come forward for public comment, please?
Yes, I'm here for public comment.
Can you state your name and your address, please?
Sure, Kate Buck. I'm the Director of Special Education Student Support Services in Douglas. and I live on Union Street in Holden. I'm here tonight to speak briefly about my resignation from my position as Director of Special Education and Student Support Services and to provide some context regarding my departure. I recently submitted my resignation from my position as Director of Special Education and Student Support Services with an intended final day of September 4th. My decision to resign was made after careful consideration and was based on the differences in leadership, priorities, and direction, particularly regarding the role of professional expertise and student-centered decision-making within special education and student support services. Ultimately, I did not believe that I could effectively fulfill my responsibility to advocate for students and lead these services within the existing leadership structure. Although I had intended to remain through September 4th, the district ultimately made the decision to conclude my service prior to that date. While this was not the outcome I had anticipated, I am grateful for the opportunity I have to serve this community. I am incredibly proud of the work accomplished during my time in Douglas, and most importantly, of the relationships I built with students, families, educators, and support staff. It was an honor to advocate for students and work alongside so many dedicated people committed to their success. When I accepted this position, I hope to bring stability to a role that has experienced significant transition. Although my time here was shorter than I had hoped, I am deeply grateful for the trust, support, and respect I receive from staff and families. I want to recognize the incredible resilience of both our families and staff who have navigated years of transition while continuing to keep students at the center of their work and advocacy. The dedication, professionalism, and commitment I have witnessed from our staff, along with the partnership and advocacy of our families, has been truly meaningful. I am grateful to have had the opportunity to work alongside and serve this community. I leave Douglas proud of the work we accomplish and grateful for the students, families, and staff who made my time here meaningful. Whatever change comes next, I hope the district remains focused on what matters most, providing students with the consistent, high-quality, student-centered services they deserve. Thank you for the opportunity to serve this community.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? Seeing that there is none, I'm going to move on to anything, turning it over to old business.
Sorry, no old business today?
And moving on to new business and the superintendent's report, please.
Certainly. So thank you, everyone. Want to start off with what we typically do in this August meeting, and that is going for a review of the work we've done this summer and highlighting what's going to happen at the start of the school year. So as I said in my newsletter to families and to staff, want to thank everyone behind the scenes who did such a great job in making certain that our schools are ready to open for students and staff next week. I've been thrown off because I'm so used to, for the past 25 years, starting the week before Labor Day, and that 2 week start before Labor Day is throwing me off a bit. But buildings have looked great. Custodians have done a great job. Big shout out to them, Jeff Collette, Diana for helping out, and all the custodians who've done work in getting things ready. Our admin assistants have things ready to go for kids. And again, a big thank you to our principals for having things set up. So just a lot of kudos to people for doing such a great job. We know that setting that stage and making sure buildings are ready for kids and staff set that tone for the school year. I also want to extend an invitation to the school committee for convocation. We're starting Tuesday this year, and at 8 a.m., we're going to be at the middle school. We have a keynote presenter by the name of Carrie Stack. Carrie Stack's message is one of the power of positivity, very similar to message that has been delivered in previous years, but really excited to have Carrie come and present. She's local. She's done a bunch of convocations across the Commonwealth and comes highly recommended. So love to have the school committee attend. If they can, at 8 o'clock, it will be at the middle school this year. Going to turn it over to the principals now for them to give you an update on professional development, start of the year, staffing, and we're going to go a little bit out of order here because they always know what order we're going to go in. Cindy's already like, where am I going to go in this? We will start with Amy Plant today.
Good evening, everyone. Can everybody hear me? Great. So really excited for the school year. Just to plug that we're going to have a sixth grade ice cream social tomorrow that we're really looking forward to. We're preparing for everything for the school year. Right now, we're going to do a professional development next week that has to do with our STAR testing, how we're using the STAR testing. We're actually taking a training, all of the principals, and talking about how we're going to use that training to actually differentiate our instruction, look at the different levels that we have, use Nearpod to help us strengthen some of the weaknesses that our students might be having, and really talk about what small groups would look like in order to dive into that tier 1 support. So we're really excited about that professional development for next week, along with just really getting to know all the staff again and welcoming them for the new school year. Right now, we have an open position for our special education teacher in grade 8. We do have an applicant. It was posted Monday, so we will not be interviewing till next week. That is currently the position that we have, and we're working with our team internally to make sure that everything is covered and our students are successful in everything that they do. So we're really excited about what's ahead for us. I know I can't wait for the kids to get here and for our staff. We're really looking forward to the year.
Awesome. Thank you. Ms. Sosha.
Okay, I had to find the button again. I forgot how to do this on Zoom. So our first days can involve the STAR training that we had. We're going to have it as admin, and we're going to relay that to our teams, whatever training we got, interpreting the data, looking at the growth and how to support the instructional piece in the decision making. We're also going to be talking about new regulations for restraints, timeouts, seclusion. We have cybersecurity training. We have the standard mandated trainings. We have Chief Manning from the fire department coming to talk to the staff about training on choking, stop the bleed. We also have Officer Brett, Officer Adam, and Desi Vega giving us a review of the ALICE protocols. During my grade level meetings, I'll be reviewing MTSS, UDL, ISIL, the importance of ISSPs. And our paras and ABAs have a training through the DESE site, and they have quite a few selected ones that we could do, and they are free. Managing big emotions and behaviors. So we are packed for the Tuesday and Wednesday. The building looks great. You could eat off the floor. It's so clean. Kudos to, custodian Andy and my assistant Penny. Penny got all the supplies in. Everything's delivered. The teachers have been in. The rooms look awesome. So we're always excited to get the little ones in. We have orientations planned. So it'll be a busy week, but it's going to be a fun week. It's nice to have that fun staff back in. You can hear them like screaming down the hall, saying hello to each other and what did you do, sharing their stories. So it's always a fun beginning. As far as staffing goes, I have 2 vacancies, the nurse and a sub-separate. For the nurse, we have a candidate. We're waiting for a waiver through DESE. She needs to take her MTEL and a couple other small items before she can be fully certified. So we're excited to get her on board. And
But she is a registered nurse, correct, Cindy?
She is a registered nurse. Yeah, she has all the other requirements that DESE is needed for certification. And she's a Douglas resident, so it's nice to have her. And the sub-separate is going to be an internal candidate that's going to transfer over, which now leads a preschool position. And again, she's waiting for a waiver to be approved. She has a moderate license and she'll be going for the severe license. So that's what we have.
Do you have all, Mrs. Sosha, there's
Yes.
all of your special ed services covered for the year?
Yes,
Even with your opening?
yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Mr. Haynes?
Good evening, everyone. I'll start with staffing. We have 2 positions right now. Just recently, the grade 5 special ed position opened up. So we just recently post that. So hoping that we'll get a good pool of candidates to draw from for that position. We did for the 2nd grade inclusion position. So hoping for the same with this grade 5. The other position that we have is a long-term sub position for the intensive instruction program. For an anticipated maternity leave. So we're not going to need that right away, but we've posted that position as well. And it might be a little tricky position to fill, but if that is in fact the case, we have a plan for sort of moving some people into that role, having some people that are in that program sort of stepping up into more leadership capacity there. So we have the coverage throughout that time. So I'm confident we'll be covered for that role as well. Let's see. That's that's our open positions currently. Are there any questions? Okay. Let's see. And then as far as kicking off the year, this Friday we have our supply drop-off day. And let's see. So we're expecting from 8 to 10, we're inviting all the students at the school to come in and bring all their supplies and go up and pay a quick visit to their classroom and have all their supplies ready and waiting for them when they come in on the first day of school next Thursday. And we're going to follow that. We're going to take advantage of that time to then we're having a new student orientation for rising grade 2 students, and then any new students to the Douglas Elementary School community. And of course, the families are invited. We'll be gathering in the cafeteria. There'll be a brief slide presentation, and then we have a group of 5th graders that are going to be there that will break those all of our visitors up that day for to get a tour of the building with grade 5 students. So we're looking forward to that. With regards to the professional development days, we're going to have an emphasis on we're going to kind of replicate what we did last year, and which ended up being quite successful. With our PD last year, the focus was on math and our approach to math throughout the year and math instruction. And basically, what we're going to do is we're going to have the same focus this year, but on ELA, and we're going to sort of revisit our success from last year, where each grade at the school was successful in attaining its goal of student growth percentile. And so based on that success, we want to, like I said, replicate it, have the focus on ELA and kind of flip it over, yet continuing to build on the successes last year with math, but again, have the focus be on ELA. And let me see. So one thing, sorry, I'm just looking through my notes here. I'll give you an example of one of the things that we're gonna focus on is, if you think back to your own experiences in school and classrooms and whatnot, and how there were certain teachers that were really able to facilitate great discourse and gathering questions from students. I attended a program the other day where there's something by a company called, organization called, a nonprofit, Curious by Design, and they have what's called the question formulation technique, which is a strategy for teachers to facilitate questions in classrooms. And I collected a bunch of materials from them. It was a great session that I attended by the people that are behind ST Math. It was a leadership program, and I'm going to bring some of the strategies that were presented here around facilitating great questioning and discourse in classrooms to our teachers and have them do some activities around that. So that's just an example of one thing we'll be doing at the elementary school during our PD days. That's it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Haynes. And next is Mr. Ringet, who not only has a report, but some good news to share with the committee and those who are watching.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Vieira.
You're welcome.
I'll start with the good news. It's always good to start with good news. I received an email just yesterday from the U.S. News World Report stating that Douglas High School made their national rankings medal winning levels, which is always great to see. Some of it is behind a paywall, so it's hard for me to see as to some of those things. But I would probably credit a lot of that work, a lot of that praise from the, we had some amazing AP scores this past year. And it was great to see that. And along with some of the other things that we were able to accomplish. But yeah, we're very pleasantly surprised. Again, a lot of the information is still stuck behind a paywall, and I have not paid to see it yet. Not sure if I will, but no, we are very excited that to receive that information just earlier this week. Kind of moving on into the first 2 days of school for the teachers for convocation. We're going to continue down the path of we're going to go through the pilot rubric for the that DESE has just put out for teachers in the last year or so. We're going to go through our required trainings, as Ms. Sosha said. We're going to talk about goal writing and how to properly, put in, your academic goals that you and your professional goals that you want to kind of put in through there. We'll talk. We have to train every year essentially on MyCap because things change all the time, and we might want different focus pieces. We might need to adjust groups, things of that nature. So we'll have a focus on that as well. As has been explained by the other three buildings, we'll have our mandated trainings. We'll have our ALICE trainings. We'll have our bullying protocols gone through. We'll talk about SBIRT. We'll talk about EpiPen training and incident reporting and all that fun stuff. One of the things that we're going to kind of key in on, I've mentioned this before at school committee meetings, that we typically have focus points at the high school every year. And we're going to have those focus points again this year. Some of those focus points will be trauma-informed practices, growth mindset, as you've heard me say before, and you'll hear me say again. And we're going to go into another buzzword, proven skills. That seems to be a buzzword being floated around the Department of Education lately. So we're going to kind of incorporate that into our regular practice, hopefully. And the last one I always keep on there no matter what, and that is teaching is a practice. Teaching is a practice. And those are going to be kind of our focus points. We'll divvy up some time for classroom time. We'll have department head meetings. We're going to meet with student activities advisors to make sure we're all on board and all on the same page with various protocols. And to be honest, that's going to cover pretty much that whole day. That's going to cover that pretty much whole day. I will gladly offer Miss Sosha a Dunkin' Donuts card if she can post a picture of her eating something off of her floor in the primary school. But I can honestly say that the high school is pretty much all set. We still have 2 areas that remain to be cleaned, but they're in progress as we speak. Yep, it's 6:53, and so it's as we speak. They are in progress, and they'll be in progress the remainder of this week. And we'll be ready for the students when they come in.
You do know Miss Sosha is competitive, correct? All right.
Hey.
Just want to make sure. All right. Miss Landry.
Thank you. No, I really want to echo everything that the principals have said, and I need to shout out the custodians. They were really pushed this summer, and they really came through. So I do want to shout out to them. Little shout out to the business office. We worked hard to close out FY26. Couldn't do it without Michelle and Ellen. They did a fantastic job over the summer, closing up FY26 and setting us up for 27. Going into the school year, a little new thing that we're starting to work with is all of our wonderful admin assistants in all of the buildings, trying to get them together more to do a little collaborative training for them. We're trying to do a little purchasing exercises, share some expertise. There's a lot of expertise in those buildings. And what I really want to do is get the admin assistants across the district working together and sharing their best kept secrets to help out. So we will be doing that while the principals meet with other staff members. We'll be able to do that. For an opening, we still have a food service director opening. Might be a surprise to some of you because you may have heard that we did make an offer. She did accept, and unfortunately, right after accepting, had a family emergency and is now a full-time caregiver. So unfortunately had to rescind her acceptance. We reposted, we waited the time, and unfortunately, we have not had any qualified applicants yet. So in the time being, we have 3 fantastic kitchen managers. I have absolutely no doubt that the level of lunches that the students will receive will be any less than prior. We are working through the kitchen managers for the lunches. There's a lot of reporting that has to be done on the back end, which will be taken over by myself and the business office. And we do have Allison still on board per diem, couple hours a week to help out with that additional reporting or any questions that we do have in the meantime while we do get going for a food service director. Back over to you.
All right, thank you. And then finally, some updates from the special education world. We were able to partner this week with a former special education director to provide supports to Ms. Cheeto, Mr. Ringet, who's going to be potentially running meetings, and Ms. Plant. So that SPED director is going to be able to reach out, and our staff's going to be able to reach out to her, Alyssa, Rob, and Amy in case they have any questions. We just wanted to make sure that they had that support. A few years ago, we partnered with a retired special education administrative assistant to help come in the special education office and help out. We are in the process of reaching out to her. We got her name yesterday, contact information, and if the department needs additional supports inside, we will be able to reach out to her and see if she's able to come in. On Friday, we have an interview with a coordinator, and if that is fruitful, we'll do reference checks and move forward. If that is not fruitful, I have 3 people who I've met with yesterday and today who are able to run team meetings virtually. And we would potentially go down that path in order to be able to take the burden off of Mr. Ringet and Ms. Plant, and in some way Ms. Cheeto, so that they can stay in the buildings, but we have that person, those people available. And again, if we can't get someone to come in, we would be able to have people come in and do team meetings virtually until we could find a coordinator. Yesterday, I spoke with, and I believe today one person, I spoke with 4 retired special education directors to see if they would be interested in coming in and doing some interim work until we can hire a full-time special education director. They are checking their calendars, their schedules. They have a couple irons in the fire, and they said they would get back to me next week. So the hope would be that one of those 4 people could come in for 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, however long the process took, in order to be able to make sure that staff is supported and the department was moving forward while we looked for a permanent position. And then to date, we've had 4 people apply for the director position. We will be setting up interviews on Friday of this week and reaching out to some of those people. And we're scheduling interviews first round for Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So a lot of progress in a week. A lot of names out there, a lot of people looking to help out. Hope to be able to have some more concrete answers middle to end of next week after some of these things play out. So just wanted to update people on that. And with that said, happy to answer questions, principals, or Ms. Landry. And that would conclude my report for this evening.
Any questions from the committee?
Just, Dr. Vieira, just to clarify for anybody that might be watching on here, we're not going to require that families have to have virtual meetings because we don't have somebody to do an in-person meeting. We're still going to offer in-person meetings.
Correct.
Regardless of what we have in the building, we'll have to
Correct.
just make it work. Okay.
Correct.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for clarification. Yes.
Anybody else from the committee have any other further questions before I move on?
No.
All right, thank you so
Not
much.
a question, but just a comment. Thank you all for the hard work over the summer and your staff. And we know that there's teachers that are coming in right now that are getting their classrooms prepped. And that means a lot to our students that we have the people dedicated to them. So thank you.
Yes, to echo what Beth just said, yes. Just everybody coming back in, the admin staff, the custodians, the teachers, the parents, right? Getting everything ready for school is just imperative. So thank you so much. Moving on to the school committee subcommittee report, the account payable report. Beth or Julia, can one of you look at it since we don't have Becky here, or we can skip it and put it on the agenda for the September 2nd meeting?
I can do it,
Thank you, Julia.
like the good old days. All right, so I am going to assume and that Miss Rebecca DeMarco did a very thorough job of looking at warrant, oh God, don't mind my face, 05 SCH 27 05 SCH L27 with the dates of July 30th and July 31st, 2026. There were 6 batch numbers for a grand total of $77,624.96. Again, I think my girl, Mrs. DeMarco, would have mentioned any irregularities or issues.
She wouldn't have signed. So
Exactly.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Julia.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Moving on to our consent agenda, and if we could review the August 5th, 2026 meeting minutes. And if anyone has any questions, I'd be looking for a motion.
Can we hold it till to the next meeting, just because I wasn't here, so I don't want to accept it because I wasn't here.
Yeah, so we can hold it. So that moves us on to the technology department substitute.
Hi, I can speak about this. So
Thank you.
what we're proposing is to create the position of a technology substitute. This would be a non-union position. This would be utilized as needed for extended vacancies or absences within the technology department. What it is we're 200 employees and 1,100 students across the district. We're tiny. We keep it tiny. It's a group of 3 very hardworking individuals. If for some reason they unfortunately need to be out for an extended period of time, it would be very helpful to have the extra hands-on substitute for the time that one of the members of the tech department would be out. The proposal is to create the position at a rate of $25 an hour. That $25 an hour, as you can tell from the attachments down below, would be slightly less than a step 1 network or technology data specialist. So kind of put them right below where our permanent positions would be.
From the committee. Seeing that there is none, I would be looking for a motion.
I move to approve the there's no wording on here.
Keep going down. There
Oh
is.
yeah, there it is. I'm sorry. Thank you, Diana.
Yep.
Move to approve the creation of a technology substitute position in a non-union position to be utilized as needed for extended vacancies or absences within the technology department.
Motion made by Beth, seconded by.
Julia?
I need a roll call vote, please.
Beth
Julie.
Bergstrom, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Thank you so much. Next is the physical restraint policy, the JKAA, the 3rd reading, and this will be our final vote.
Right, so this is our 3rd vote. This is the school committee policy. This policy establishes the standards and procedures governing the use of restraints in accordance with the law. Its purpose is to ensure the safety of students and staff while safeguarding students' legal rights and restricting the use of physical restraint or seclusion only in emergency situations. So it's just an updated policy. We've done it twice. This was presented at 2 other occasions and also overseen by our school attorney and reviewed by him. So this last reading and vote would put the policy into effect.
Any questions from the committee? Seeing that there is none, I'd be looking for a motion, please.
Let's see here. I move to approve the new physical restraint policy, JKAA. We need to read the whole thing.
That's fine.
Oh, okay, good.
Motion made by Julia, seconded by.
Beth,
Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Heather Moore, aye. Thank you so much, ladies. Moving on to the 2026 and 2027 student handbooks, please.
So we'll start with the primary school. And Cindy, if you just want to go over some of the highlights and the changes from 25 to 20, from 26 to 27, and then we'll take each, then we'll vote on them at the end as a whole. So
Okay.
Cindy, we can start with you.
Okay, so we're adding in just the dismissal times for half days. We're rewording the verbiage on attendance just to make sure it's consistent with everyone else. The principals did meet and kind of go through some of these things. Rewording the verbiage about the walkers and who can receive off the bus. We're taking out a lot of the medical requirements, and again, that's to be consistent with all of the other schools. And then we realize we don't have one call anymore, so we're removing that paragraph from the handbook about the system for calling families, and we're replacing it with school delay cancellations will be communicated through the district's communication system, which would be your Thrill Share and Power School. And that's about it.
Any questions from the committee? Thank you so much, Ms. Ocho.
Thank
Right,
you.
Mr. Haynes.
Thank you, Dr. Vera. And just to follow up on Mrs. Socia, we did meet and just wanted to make sure we had more consistency throughout the schools. So the same was for the elementary school handbook that referred to the section that refers to the one call. We're removing that and then inserting, making the same insertion into that. That the primary building is as it pertains to cancellations and to look through the district's communication system, Apogee, Power School, etc. On page 7, we're inserting just at the discretion consequences sequence may be accelerated if warranted by the nature of the behavior incident. We sort of shortened that and we use some consistent language with the other schools later on as it pertains to behavior, but in the bus transportation bit, we do list some consequences and just want to add in that one bit that just mentioned, again, based on the nature of the incident, we may accelerate the sequence of discipline. On page 17, where we talk about, there's the reference to the cell phones, we request revisions, cell phones and other electronic devices, and there's consistency there with the middle school and the high school. Though it's a little different because of the way that the high school is handling cell phone. At the elementary school, basically the rule has been and will continue to be phones, but now any other kind of electronic devices will remain in backpacks throughout the day. And so then we, again, are consistent with the high school in terms of if we need to accelerate the progressive discipline, first, second, third, fourth offense, etc., we will do that. And let's see, so that's consistent with the high school. And then lastly, also being consistent with the other schools, the high school, on page 19, Code of Conduct, we insert a bathroom use section that just refers to appropriate behavior in the bathrooms. So that's new to our handbook, but I think it's needed at this point. And again, there's consistency with the language with the other buildings. So those are the elementary school's proposed changes.
Thank you.
Any questions from the committee? Thank you so much, Mr. Haynes.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to have Mr. Ringett go first instead of going along the lines. There was stuff that happened at the high school and reasons for some of these changes, which were needed, and middle school adopted them for consistency. Mr. Ringett has the history and the context. Ms. Plant knows the story but didn't live it. So we'll start with Rob and then go to Amy.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Vera. So again, consistency across schools for school delay and cancellation, going through other sites other than one call. The added language around discipline that Mr. Haynes had just alluded to about accelerated if warranted by the nature of a behavior or incident for consequences. On top of that, some high school things that were noticed. We would like to start with the class of 2030 on adjusting our numerical grade values by 1 point for the A+, the A, the B+, and the B, so we could have consistency across all grade letters of the A's, B's, C's, and D's. They currently stand at an A+ is a 96 to 100. We would like to adjust that to a 97 through 100. An A is a 93 to a 95. We would like to adjust that to a 93 to a 96. So it's a 1 point difference. This is similar to many other schools in the state of Massachusetts, and also provides consistency with the letters C and D if need be. The B+ and the B would be the same difference. Instead of starting at a 6, it would start at a 7. So it would start at 87 versus starting at 86. And we would plan to start that with the incoming freshman class. So it would not affect the current seniors, juniors, or sophomores. We would like to also include with the incoming freshman class some tidbits about graduation cords. As Dr. Very alluded to, when things come about, we react with our student handbook. So starting with the class of 2030, the graduation cords will be limited to National Honor Society concentrations that we offer through academic completion, seal of biliteracy, and AP capstone. Should a student activity purchase and provide graduation cords, it will follow the requirements within its own student activity bylaws and or constitution that they have. And if one does not exist, the cords will be decided through a vote of all members of that student activity, which will then be adopted by that group's constitution and submitted to the principal. That would also start with the class of 2030. So those are the two kind of like new things coming in for that class. I would like to make a small adjustment with language, changing the word excused to approved. A bit more positive context. Nothing really major there. Then there's a couple of new sections based off of activities that students have found to be interesting. We would like to add a section in the discipline chart that the misrepresentation of a member of the school through electronic and or artificial means. So clearly something happened last year where we had students portray a member of the school through artificial intelligence means on social media. And we never thought that would have to be addressed, but it had to be addressed. We didn't have anything super specific in our handbook to as safeguards, so we wanted to make sure that we kind of covered our bases here. So we're looking at a first offense of 2 office detentions with notification to parents and guardians. Second offense would be a meeting with the parents or guardians, the student, and or counselors to determine additional measures up to and including a written plan with a ban on all electronic devices for 2 weeks. We would also start incorporating issues surrounding bullying or harassment, because we could be entering a sense of cyberbullying at that moment. The third offense and beyond, we would go straight to our bullying and harassment protocols to protect all involved. Before I progress, I just want to ask if there's any questions on that.
So you would wait until the third offense to do anything with bullying? Is that?
No, we would start at the second offense.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. All right. Okay. Another new section that we feel is necessary as we see more and more actions like this are around bathroom use. So many times when we walk into the bathroom, we walk in and we might see 2, maybe 3 students inside the same exact stall. So knowing that that is not appropriate when the bathroom is being used for its actual use, we wanted to make sure we had language in here so that students were very clearly aware, parents are very clearly aware of how we expect our students to behave in the bathrooms and what their expectations are. So students are expected to treat the school bathrooms as they would their bathrooms at home. This includes active preservation of the bathroom and its fixtures. So soap dispensers, sinks, toilets, urinals, you name it, active preservation of those. So not purposefully destroying them. Students who violate this by purposely flushing inappropriate items, including metals, plastics, feminine hygiene, paper towels, etc., and or breaking fixtures in place will be subject to the vandalism section of the discipline chart. Additionally, there should never be more than 1 student in a bathroom stall. Violation of this will result in a search of all parties involved, due to the fact that that's usually where we find students violating our tobacco use or drug policies. And continuous violations of this may occur into a bathroom safety plan. So any questions about the bathroom use? Okay. We have one minor change under class dues. Class dues said if a family is struggling or facing a financial hardship, the old language said to schedule a meeting with the administrator to present their case. However, we would like to change that to our updated policies of filling out a fee waiver form through the appropriate channels and having it approved through there. And then last but not least, we come down to electronic devices. I saved the best for last.
Thank you.
Yeah, we try. So last year, while I was roaming the hallways as one principal does, entering classrooms and just kind of observing student-teacher relationships, what's going on in classrooms, how students are learning, we found that approximately 60% of the students while in class were also on their phones. Now, most of the time, the students would have their phones propped up across their Chromebook screen so the teacher couldn't actively see it. And on their screen was either a video game or a Netflix or their TikTok or Snapchat, whatever. So I presented this information at several faculty meetings. We had many discussions about this. I asked the teachers what they thought of the data presented. We went through many different scenarios as to how it could best serve our students and best serve like what the state will be coming down with as far as their bell-to-bell mandate that we expect probably in November. So the state is looking to push a 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. mandate for all electronic devices. Recent schools have already published what they have been doing. Quabog just recently pushed theirs out, I want to say on Monday. The policy that we kind of came up with as a staff, because the teachers were looking for help on this. They were kind of at a loss. So the policy that I'm proposing, it's not as strict as some of our area schools. We're trying to be realistic in our expectations. We know we can't monitor students 1000% of the time. So we're looking at going bell to bell in each class. So start of the class to the end of the class. The phones have to be placed in a box at the front of the room. That's what we're looking at as a general purpose. But for official language around this, we're looking at the following. Excuse me, I don't have a water down here right now. So cell phones, headphones, smartwatches, meta glasses, and similar items must be stored in specific spaces, pouches, lockers, boxes, etc., designated by administration each class period. We're going on the box route because of cost efficiency and really just kind of one central place for all staff members. Students who should go to the office to make phone calls, that part actually hasn't changed. This may include matters related to family, transportation, work, and other reasons of similar levels of importance. Families who need to contact their students during school hours should contact the school's main office and not directly call the student. That piece hasn't changed from our previous plan either. Students found in violation of the policy will receive progressive discipline. The first offense, device left in the main office, we would make a phone call home. Second offense, device left in the main office, parents or guardians will be contacted to pick up the device from the main office. Third offense, meeting with parents and guardians, student and or counselors to determine additional measures up to and including a written plan with a ban on all electronic devices for 2 weeks. Further offenses, student will hand in the device to the main office and be assigned up to 1 day of in-school suspension. We talk about no student will photograph or videotape a Nicholas Public School employee or student without the knowledge and consent of the employee. Photos or videos should never be taken in the locker rooms or bathroom areas. Other electronic devices, such as laser pointers, are not allowed to be used in the school building at any time. Students who have documented with the nurse that their phone is used as a medical device will require proximity with their device and will be allowed possession of their device. However, should that student be found in violation of the phone use, such as using social media, watching videos, etc., they will be faced with a modified consequence, such as their phone being on the teacher desk and them having to sit right next to that teacher desk. Therefore, they would remain in proximity to their device to check if they have diabetes, their sugar levels, and so on and so forth. That is my my concluding statement right there. So I entertain any questions.
Amy's going to say ditto to a lot of this, so we'll just open it up to questions while it's fresh in people's minds with Mr. Ringette.
Do you have any, Heather?
Nope, I'm good.
I just for people that are on and watching, like we're not doing this just for fun either. Like we're going to have to do this regardless. It's coming. And I think that's a huge statistic that 60% of the kids are on their cell phones during the class time. So I don't have any questions other than, do you go by quarter for your discipline, or like do you reset? Like how does I just know people that I talk to on a regular basis that might be like, so can I do that every like once a quarter? So I'm just wondering.
We don't have a reset button on this. It is it's continuous. We expect the first month and a half of school to be
Tough.
It'll be interesting. That's the expectation, is that the first month and a half of school will be a feeling out period by the students, by the staff. We're going to make it a very clear expectation during the opening couple of days that it's every student, every period, every class, every day. And that's just going to be the mantra. And
whether teachers let them use them or not at the end of class, there will be no more of that. There will be. Okay.
But through the chair, I do have a question. Could students opt? Well, I wouldn't want to say opt out. Could students say leave it in their locker or somewhere else? You know, if they didn't want, instead of like picking it up and dropping it off multiple times, like could they just leave it and get to it, say at lunchtime?
And I want to say no, I do want to say no because I want to remain as consistent as possible across every classroom, across every student, so there's no confusion. Should we venture down that path later, should we have to revisit anything, then Mrs. Searle in the counseling department, she assigns lockers to any student that requests one. So if they want a locker, they got one. I think at the beginning, though, I think early on we want to stay as consistent, clear, and concise across all classrooms as possible.
Okay, thank you for that. And that just also blows my mind and is a little embarrassing. I thought students still used lockers. So I'm like really aging myself.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen a student use a locker in, I think, 10 years.
I'm going to second that, Rob.
Ms. Bora, can you reflect for the record that Miss Dr. DeMarco is present?
Any other questions for Mr. Ringet? All right, I guess we got the middle school now, right?
Now we'll go, Amy. Easy left for you now.
Oh, this is so easy. Julia, by the way, we do use lockers in middle school, so they're not outdated quite yet.
Oh, thank God.
All right, you got that one going. So I'm going to do a little bit of ditto. We have the same bathroom language as Rob does. We have the same misrepresentation of a member of the school. We have the same as everyone where we removed one call and talked about what our district does. We adopted the same cell phone policy with a caveat in the middle school, it will be in their lockers during that time. So it won't be in individual classes, it'll be in the lockers and locked away. The things that I was hoping that could be added was razors under our weapons. That had been something that had come up, eyebrow razors and things of that sort. So we're just going to put that in as well. And then we also talked about our promotion and retention and moving it from it was one class failing to making it 2 classes. So to be promoted to the next grade level, students may fail no more than 2 core academic courses. Students who fail 2 or more academic courses will be required to successfully complete an approved education program in order to be considered for promotion. We're hoping that our Tier 1 supports and all of that will be in place, so no one is failing that. But if we get to that point, it gives us a little leeway on what educational program that looks like. And the principal in the collaboration with the students' parents and guardians will determine the most appropriate educational programming option to support the students' successful completion and requirements to be promoted to the next grade. And that is it.
Any questions?
Through the chair, Heather.
Absolutely.
Ms. Playa, is there any way we can add a table of contents into?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
It's there. Yes.
Okay,
It's
thank
in the
you.
beginning part. Thank you for noticing that. It had
Okay.
been put in the middle part for some reason. It's in the beginning part now.
Okay, thank you. Perfect.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Plant? All right, so I believe we'd be looking for a motion for all of the student handbooks.
All right, I'll make that motion. I was just trying to find the agenda here on my screen and I lost it again. But I move to approve the 2026-2027 student handbooks for the primary. We're doing all of them right now? Okay. Primary, elementary, middle, and high school.
Motion made by Julia, seconded by?
Becky?
Seconded by Becky. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Becky DeMarco, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Heather Moore and I. All right, thank you all so very much for this hard work. I know getting consistency is huge, so we truly appreciate everyone's efforts. And moving on now to the business and operations report.
Thank you. I do not have a transfer or a reclass report for this evening. But I can happily say, as I stated earlier, FY26 is closed officially. Jean and I signed the official school department funds report today. As you will see enclosed, I will not bore you by reading every number. You can certainly read through. I do want to say we landed in a good place. As in prior years, there was a bit left over in the general operating budget that we did get transferred over into school choice, as the town so graciously allows us to do with any remaining budget that we may have at the end of the year. I will say, I know sometimes might question, well, where did it come from? Some of it was actually through salaries, in terms of if we had an open position for a couple days, a couple weeks, and then that person would get hired again. Those are some of the reasons why we might have a bit of a difference. I do want to point out, and what I specifically want to talk about is where our school choice and our circuit breaker balances have landed. There was a lot of talk about this during budget time, and a lot of assumptions being made to come up with a conservative forecast in the March and April timeframe. So I want to take a look at school choice first. Our ending actual balance for FY26 is about $1.5 million. What is in that $1.5 million includes the town funding of the $394,000 that got rolled into the school department's budget in FY26 to help with the FY27 budget. There was about $296,000 from general operating funds that transferred over in. Our sped increment was well above what we were forecasting with $158,000. Had to do with a lot of hard work on the reporting side of that as well. And our school choice number was about $13,000 higher than anticipated. So all in all, we ended up about $160,000 in our ending balance, higher than what we thought when we were doing this forecasting back in March and April. When I look at circuit breaker, we ended with an $808,000 balance for the year. That was a difference of about $136,000 versus what we were forecasting. We were pretty close on that one. Some of the big differences were the extraordinary relief came in higher than what we had anticipated. The transportation receipts ended up being about $52,000 more than anticipated. I think some of that had to do with the percentage at which we were budgeting, and expenses in circuit breaker were $54,000 less than what we were forecasting back in March and April. So we have an ending balance of $808,000, which will start us off for FY27.
Awesome. Any questions from the committee? So I just want to say, to echo your sentiments to Michelle, Alan, and yourself, Ms. Landry, for the hard work. Getting our books closed in a timely manner is huge. And of course, shout out to Jean Lovett over on the town side too, is always that wonderful collaboration between both sides. It truly is appreciated. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other topics not anticipated?
Not this evening. Just wishing everyone a happy and joyous last few days of summer, and looking forward to having our staff back on Tuesday and Wednesday, and more importantly, our kids back starting a week from tomorrow. Be good to get some life back into the hallways and in the classrooms and in schools. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. All right. I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made by Julia, seconded by?
Becky.
Seconded by Becky. All roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Becky DeMarco.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on September 2nd for our next school committee meeting. Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Have a
Have a
wonderful
good night. Thank you.